Here's the truth. Long before you knew who you were, someone else had already decided who you were supposed to be. Welcome back to the Revolution Resolution. This year, we're committing to seeing clearly and choosing differently. I'm Malaika Tubbs, author of Erased and The Three Mothers. In these 5 minutes, we peel back another layer of the system we inherited so we can move from confusion to clarity, from self-blame to self-trust, and from surviving toward liberation. Today, I want to explore something quiet, subtle, and unbelievably powerful. The rules we were given about who we're allowed to be. Rules we never agreed to. Some of these rules were spoken directly. Some were whispered through expectations. Some were absorbed through stories, traditions, jokes, warnings, or silences. But almost all of them came from the same place. A system that needs us to fit into particular roles in order to keep functioning. And it starts early, before we can even talk, before we can walk, before we have any say in the matter. We're taught what emotions are acceptable. We're taught who's supposed to be strong and who's supposed to be accommodating. We're taught who leads and who follows. We're taught what is admirable and what is shameful. We're taught who deserves softness and who must always be tough. We're taught what a good person looks like, sounds like, and behaves like. But here's the crucial part. None of these rules were based on the fullness of our humanity. They were based on maintaining the logic of a system designed long before we were born. Some of us were taught that our value depended on caretaking. Some of us were taught that our value depended on control. Some of us were taught that our value depended on performance. Some of us were taught that our value depended on invisibility. And for many of us, the roles we were given didn't match who we actually were at all. But when we're young, we don't know we have a choice. We absorb the rules because they seem like the only way to belong, the only way to stay safe, the only way to be loved. So we learn to comply. We learn to contort. We learn to shapeshift. We learn to silence certain parts of ourselves and amplify others. We learn to take the blame for feelings and pressures that were never ours to carry. And this is where so much suffering begins. Because these rules weren't built to honor our complexities or our possibilities. They were built to serve a system that profits when we limit ourselves. Recognizing this isn't about blaming the people who raised us. They were handed the same script, often with even fewer options. And it isn't about turning against ourselves either. It's about awakening to the truth. You didn't choose these rules, but you get to choose what to do with them now. When you start noticing them, the pressure to be perfect, the pressure to stay quiet, the pressure to be invulnerable, the pressure to always be fine, they begin to loosen. And with every thread you pull, you make space for something new. More compassion for yourself, more understanding for others, more breathing room for freedom. Because here's the secret. The system depends on us not noticing the rules. But once we see them, we can question them. Once we question them, we can refuse them. And once we refuse them, we can begin imagining something better. In this series, we're building that muscle. The muscle of recognition, of curiosity, of liberation. So today, just ask yourself gently, what rules did I inherit that never belonged to me? You don't have to answer yet. Just noticing is the beginning of freedom. Thank you for joining me for the Revolution Resolution. If this has helped you find more compassion for yourself and others, share it, subscribe, and bring someone you love into the journey. I'll be back in a few days with our next step.